Get started. So, welcome everybody to the first WTA Cooking show. Isn't that funny? Yeah. This came about because she is a caterer in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This is my mother-in-law, and of course, since COVID-19, there's been a big thing on trying to get that done. So I said, "Mama, you think you might want to come on and try to show you guys how to make some crawfish etouffee or some shrimp etouffee?" She was all about it. So, without further ado, welcome Terry and welcome Kathy and Shayla. You all have your ingredients. Are you preparing shrimp or are you preparing crawfish? Terry, what about you?
I'm doing shrimp.
Okay, what about you, Kathy?
Shrimp.
She's doing shrimp. Okay.
Okay, well, ladies, I'd like to tell you, shrimp is excellent to prepare etouffee with. All we're doing is we're going to get a basic roux, and you can use shrimp, you can use crawfish tail, you can even use your favorite fish if you like. You know, sometimes, you like a fish, and all you're doing is, if you're going to do like a fish, you take your fish, you wash it real good, you kind of like get it and you dice it. And that can make a etouffee too. People in the South, we kind of like, it's like a big gumbo. You throw everything in the pot. Everything works. Okay, so what I did earlier was, if you can see my ingredients right here, I have some red peppers, some yellow peppers, all the sweet peppers. You can buy them in a little container, sweet peppers. You don't have to use a whole lot. And if you don't have the peppers, you can always use just a regular green bell pepper. It works. But when I'm cooking, I like to use the different colors because I like my food to be colorful. It looks great when you plate it colorful, okay? And what I did was I took my bell pepper, and what you do is, of course, nowadays, I know y'all know how to do that. We just take your pepper, quite simple, and you just, slice it down the middle, and you get all the seeds out. When you're dealing with colorful peppers and different stuff like that, the seeds would make the product hot. And you don't want your food too hot so you wouldn't be able to enjoy it. So you just clean all your seeds out, clean them out, just like that. And you just take it simple when you clean them out, push your seeds to the side, and you just take your little bell pepper, turn it over like this. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna dice it. Just dice it. The dice depends on how fine you want your bell pepper. Sometimes I have a little blender, a little Black & Decker chopper on my kitchen counter, and I just put it in there and I hit it a couple times. But I like to kind of like see my vegetables in my food. It brings color to your plate. And so if you can just see how I just dice those up, already. So I diced them, got my peppers diced. I did the same thing with my onions. I took a regular, and I used some white onions, but you can use yellow onions if you have them, whatever onion you have in your pantry. This is called easy etouffee. We're not trying to prepare it like in a great big restaurant or something like that where they have particular things that they put in. But this is a quick and easy etouffee. And I did my white onions, I diced it up, and I took a regular garlic. And if you don't have the fresh garlic, you know how sometimes you go to the store and you see the little garlic in the little plastic containers that's already peeled and everything? Or some squeezed garlic out your refrigerator if you have some. Yeah, if you have it, you just dice your garlic up. Dice it up. You want everything to be kind of fine. And so if you can see, and I also had some green onions, some scallions. And what I did was I wanted to get mostly the white part of it. And I saved my top part of it right here is I'm gonna do my garnishing with it. When I plate it, I put a little bit on top. Nothing tastes better than a fresh green onion on something that you can just cook and it's nice and hot. Okay, so have y'all caught up with me, ladies? You got a minute to catch up, dice your peppers and your green onion. And you also can add celery. If you like celery, you can put some celery in there. You can do the trinity. Okay? And what I'm going to do next is, now that I have all my vegetables diced and sliced up, I'm going to take and use a stick of margarine. We ain't saying now it's supposed to be not fat. It's supposed to, you need all the good fats in your food. After you eat this dinner, then we go take a good walk. Walk it down, okay? All right. I'm gonna take my butter and gonna move my butter over here and put it in my pot. I could be melting it because what I'm gonna do next is saute all of my vegetables. I'm cooking at about 7 and 8 because you don't want to burn your more. You don't want your butter to be burnt. You melt butter too fast, you get a brown. You don't want it like that. You want it, you won't get it brown, but you don't want it to get brown too fast.
Well, I better turn mine down.
Well, turn it down now. And you're gonna go on and put all your vegetables in here. Put it on in there. And you should, if you look over in your pot, you should have a very colorful rainbow pot. Isn't that pretty?
Yes.
And I'm a known, I'll tell everybody, if it looks good, it gonna taste good. And that's looking good already to start with. And if you need to, you go turn your pot up a little bit more. You got your vegetables in there. So you got a little margarine. You got a little, moisture in your pot. All right, ladies, while we're doing that, while we're sauteing our vegetables, if you have, what I did was, and I'm gonna show you what I did. We had a crawfish boil on yesterday evening. And we had some leftover crawfish, which we peeled. Now, what I did was, these are not gonna be the crawfish that's in the etouffee, but what I did was, I took those leftover crawfish, the head and everything, and I put them in a pot, and I boiled them. You ever hear people say you make your stock, a seafood? I made a seafood stock. You can make a seafood stock with any kind of seafood, pretty much that you have. Basically, a shrimp. Now, what I did was, we also had some boiled shrimp, and what I did was, I just saved a couple of heads of the boiled shrimp, and I'm just showing y'all that in case you cook this etouffee again, or cause see, y'all would have loved the heads off the shrimp, because y'all are doing a shrimp etouffee. And what you're gonna do is, you take and put you maybe in a 4-quart pot right here, just some water, put it on the stove and let it boil about 30 minutes. And that's gonna give you some stock. You know how you make and then if you don't have any seafood stock or anything like that, just get you some chicken broth. Chicken broth works perfect.
I just want to say it's smelling real good in here. Is it smelling good at your house too?
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna saute those vegetables.
Hey, Miss Keller, so when you making that stock, you bring it to a boil, and then do you kind of turn the fire down?
When that stock, you're gonna boil that those tails, not the tails, the heads, or the shrimp heads, or the crawfish heads. Boil them about 30 minutes. Get you a good bit. Make your big old pot, because this stuff you can freeze it. You can freeze your stock. So once you make you some, if you have some shrimp or something, some shrimps or something like that, and you want to put them up for another day, just take and boil make your great big pot of it. And then you can put like a little tonins in there, but I'm telling you, if you did a shrimp boil and you got that shrimp seasoning in there already, you don't need to put anything else in there. This is just gonna help flavorize. And you take and you make that, take that stock, let it cool, and you put it in a little plastic container, or whatever you have that's convenient, to store in the freezer. And you can always pull that out, ladies, and I'm telling you, if you're doing anything with any kind of seafood in it, and you already have you some good seafood stock that's already been ready, it makes a whole lot of difference in your recipe. Okay, your vegetable sauteing, lady, it's smelling good in here. Woo! And it's so pretty. And so what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna take and cut this down a little bit. I'm gonna go past medium a little bit, cut it down to maybe about a 3, while I get my flour and everything together to make my roux.
What's the roux, Mama?
A roux A roux is simply, we're going to make something like a gravy. We call it a roux. And what you want to do is for your etouffee, roux, we say, you don't want to just say gravy. It's a roux. And then you have several different kinds. You have thin, you have thick, you have dark brown, you have light brown, and you have white. And it just depends on what you're fixing, you can, make your roux with. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure out a cup of just all-purpose flour, just regular old flour, all-purpose. Get my measuring cup. And what you're going to do is like take and put just maybe another little half a stick of butter in there because it's going to thicken up and you're going to have to stir it and keep it stirred because you don't want your flour to scorch. You don't want it to burn. Okay? So I'm gonna get my little cup out. Depends on, now ask everybody, how many pounds of shrimp are you doing?
2.
All right, well then let's just do a cup of flour. Because you can take this roux once we get it going and you can thin it out however thin you want. It's really your choice or your taste of how you like your gravy or how you like your, because when we plate it on the plate, it depends on what you like. Everybody might not like a thick roux or they don't like a thin roux, but we're gonna work with it. Go on, put your flour in and we're gonna stir this up and make our roux. Because it don't have to be brown, because we're gonna put some tomatoes in there. You could do tomato sauce, but what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put a can of Rotel tomatoes in there, and they are mild tomatoes. It's not hot.
Okay.
Because if you get your food and you look while we're doing our roux, you can turn your oil back up. Turn your oil back up to about a 7, and let's go and get our roux together. You ought to be feeling that your vegetables are kind of gotten a little soft. They've gotten a lot soft. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go on and just brown that real good. Real good. Not real good, but we're going to saute it a little good, and then we're going to take and go it on. You have, and can I ask y'all ladies, are y'all using tomato sauce? Or y'all going to use a can of diced tomatoes? What is everybody using?
So it looks like Kathy has Rotel. Kathy has the Rotel. Terry, you're doing Rotel as well?
Rotel.
Yeah, I put that in when we did the ingredients list.
Okay, that's fine.
Does everybody use Rotel?
Oh, yeah.
You can just use regular diced tomatoes. Or if you're a person that loves everything fresh, you can dice your tomato and put it in yourself. You don't have to, a lot of people don't like, some people might not gonna have the sodium that's in cans.
Okay.
Canned products have a lot of sodium in it. Okay, so everybody's ready, we're on the same page. We're gonna pour our can of Rotel on in there. And stir it around. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take and put some water in there. Really, I'm going to go on and I'm going to go ahead on and just use a little less water in here to stand it out.
How much water?
Put about 2 cups of water.
2 cups? Okay.
Yeah, you're going to thin it out.
Or chicken stock?
No, you use water the first time. We're gonna use chicken stock when we put the tails in. Just use a little water just to thin it out, because you don't want to scorch your flour. And you see how it looks like a little pasty? Put about 2 cups of water in there, thin it around, and then we're gonna do that. Just a little. Okay, everybody's on the same page with me, right?
Right.
Okay? And you see how it looks like a nice, like a cheese, like a potato soup, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That looks good. And so what I'm going to do is you're gonna load the fire back down. Take it back down to maybe a 3. And what I'm going to do now is I am going to put just a cup of my seafood broth in there. Just a cup of it for right now. And I'm gonna let that just simmer just a little bit. Just simmer. And
So
then,
why do you slowly add in the seafood stuff?
because you don't want seafood shrimp out of there. You don't want to overcook.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You want to get your roux right. And if this is too thick for you ladies, it's like I say, if it's too thick, once we put the seafood in and it cook down another 20 minutes, if it's too thick, you can add more chicken broth or more water. But I'm saying with the chicken broth has a flavor in it. But if you just put regular water in there, you're gonna have to put maybe a little bit more seasoning in because you don't want to lose your taste, okay? So now we got it at a medium. I mean at a very low, about maybe a 3. I'm looking at the stove here. We want to go ahead on and pour our seafood in. That's your shrimp or your crawfish.
Now, does it have, you pour it in there raw?
You pour it in there raw because it's gonna cook.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna cook. Pour it in there and get it good and stirred up. Now you see when I was saying about the flour still looked a little white, but as you notice when I put my crawfish shells and stuff in there, you see the different color, the pretty color it became?
Has the shrimp one, has yours come a different color too, Terry?
No, but it looks great.
Kathy, yours looking good?
I think so.
Look, I want to look at everybody. Oh yeah, that's good.
Okay, so we got everything stirred in. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put about 4 cups of my seafood stock. And then I'm gonna turn it to medium and I'm gonna let it cook down. And all you basically doing is you're cooking while the shrimps will be done and the crawfish are done. That's why I say it's simple, it's easy, and if it's too thick, because some people like to eat their etouffee or their shrimp etouffee. You might want to eat yours as more of a soupy like. You know what I'm saying? Boil it up. But what we do down in the South is we serve ours over rice. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn the fire up to medium. Can everybody see my pot, how it's looking, how it thinned out? And we're gonna let it cook down. You're gonna put your lid over it. Now you stir it occasionally. If you look like it might be cooking a little bit too fast, you slow it down because you don't want it to cook. It's gonna be about 20 minutes. And I'm gonna tell you another way. Sometimes if you do not want to use that much flour and you want to give it a different taste, you can add a can of cream of mushroom soup in there. And it gives it a whole different flavor also.
Why do people put cream? I mean, it seems like cream of mushroom go in anything.
It does. It's like
Now here's a question.
the secret of the pantry. Okay.
Go ahead, Terry. You said you had a question?
No, that's me, Cheryl. Hi.
Hey, Cheryl, go ahead.
The question is, for the cream of mushroom, do you do that instead of the flour or both?
You can, what we did earlier was we used a cup of flour. You don't have
Right.
a cup. You can use 1/4 of a cup or 1/2 a cup. And just, get it, brown it like I showed them with the vegetables and the butter in it. And then you can take and put 2 cups of water in, and then you add your cream of mushroom soup in there with that when that's going in with your vegetables. And
So you use it as a complement, not a replacement.
yeah,
Okay.
like a supplement. Because I love the way mushrooms taste.
It looks to me like you put cream of mushroom soup in mostly everything, but I think you're doing a little bit more authentic style with it not having that in there.
With it not in there. Now, if you're trying to do a quick, easy etouffee, you just get your vegetables, do that 1/2 a cup or 1/4 of a cup of flour, saute them down, put that cream of mushroom soup in there, let it cook about 5-10 minutes, then throw your shrimp in there, put your broth on top of it, cook it down, and I mean, you got it. Bam.
Well, this is an authentic recipe, I think. I mean, now that I'm looking at it, I didn't realize it was that easy. You know how I do my etouffee? I go by that package that's in the. You just cut the package open, pour it in the pot with some butter, and that's my etouffee.
Okay, so we're gonna turn that pot up so we can go and let it cook down real good. You don't want it bubbling all out the pot and everything, but you just want to go and get a good bubble under your pot. Because basically, that's it. And then once I tell everybody, you notice I haven't put any salt, any pepper, anything in here. I like to taste. It's really your taste.
Well, let me ask you this: once the shrimp or the crawfish are cooked inside the thing, does that mean it's finished?
Well, no, not all the time. You got to, to me, it is finished. It's finished, but you got to get your broth or your liquid, however, your roux where you want it at. Okay. If you want it thick, if you want it thin, that's when that's complete. Because basically all we're doing now is cooking the roux down.
How long you been cooking, Mom?
Forever. Forever. I grew up cooking.
Tell us where you're from. Tell us about yourself.
I'm from a little town on the other side of Zachary, Louisiana. We call Port Hudson. It's close to the Mississippi River. It's not that close where I can go and sit on the banks and fish. But we used to go and get all our fresh catfish from a fish market down by the river. And I just grew up with a lot of people just cooking in my family. We didn't just go by recipes. You get a recipe to start you off. But I tell everybody, I tell my daughter-in-laws, and I tell everybody, once you cook something, like this is the first time, y'all seen how I cook it. But once you cook this, then you take the same recipe and you put you in it. You cook it for you. You cook it for your taste. This is your first time doing it. Your family might say, well, Mom, what you did? What is this, Mom? We never had anything like this. But once you cook this a couple times and you consider it like you're having a party and you want to take something that's totally different to your party, a good etouffee, crawfish etouffee is very good. And this is called a comfort food in the South. We cook this a lot during the winter time with our rice and our crackers. How we looking, ladies?
Looking good.
Now, have your shrimp, how do you know the shrimp are done when they get the pink, huh?
Yeah, the pink. Has the liquid, is your liquid to consistency of you wanting it? How your roux doing?
I think these look good. My shrimp are done. Oh, yeah.
Oh, she tasted hers. She thought,
Oh, yeah.
So you want to get it a good boil?
You got a good boil going on.
So Ms. Keller, if we get to this point and it's still like a little loose and we'd like to get it a little bit more thick, can we like put a paste of flour or something in there like you would if you were doing a gravy or something?
Yes, you can, but you'd have to do it. You just don't want to pour that flour in your mix.
Right.
You take it, get a little skillet, put a little flour and butter in there.
So you can't just throw the flour in there because it'll lump up or something, right?
Yeah, right. And again, that's why that cream of mushroom soup comes in too.
Oh, okay.
If it's not as thick as you want it, you just take and pour a can of that in there, and that cream of mushroom soup is going to thicken it up too.
What kind of rice do you use yours? I know sometimes you do parboiled rice and sometimes you do the regular rice.
Regular rice or either the parboiled.
Mm-hmm.
But I like my rice random falls itself.
So you don't like sticky rice?
I don't like sticky gummy rice. No.
How's yours tasting, Terry?
It's really good. But it's just me here at home, so I think I've made a month's supply.
How about you, Kathy?
I was going to ask you that. Perfect.
All right, so what I'm going to do now, ladies, is I'm going to go ahead on and I'm going to plate mine up.
Oh, you made that plate look so pretty. Wait a minute. Bring it back over here so the camera can see that. You put the rice, you got a nice little...
Oh, how fancy.
That's very fancy.
Well, that's what I tell y'all. Presentation is everything. You eat with your eyes. It might not taste the best, but if it's looking good, it's going to tell you that it tastes good. All right, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just dip up some and just put around my plate. See there?
Mm-hmm.
All right, nice.
And what you're gonna do is, and this is how we do it at the restaurant, you pour your rice down in your food. You know what I'm saying? So you might not want to eat all the rice at one time. And I'm sorry, ladies, I'm just a stickler for this because these are my restaurant skills. Kicking in right now.
You're gonna put it back down there.
And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna garnish it with a little something.
Green onion makes everything taste good.
Garnish it with a little something. And here's my paprika.
You just put that. You said paprika.
Yeah, just a little. Just right. This is for Miss Kathy down and Miss Carrie when they got some people over and they entertain.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's good.
Isn't that pretty?
Very pretty.
It is.
All right, and here I come. Well, I mean, it's right. I mean, it tastes amazing. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have to drive 5 hours to come taste that one to see how it compares to mine.
That's how you get it, Mom, right? That's it.
That's how we do it.
It's just a way for WTA to stay active and stay current and study something different. Hopefully you all enjoyed it.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Say that again, Terry.
I said, thank you so much for this opportunity. You know, I was wanting to go to the Amalfi Coast for the cooking tour, so this is a great replacement. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad that we were able to do it. She actually did a really good recipe, pretty simple, tastes really good. Again, I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I might do it again sometime. I'm not sure how I'm gonna pull it off, but it was fun doing it anyway. I'm always doing something. You all know me, right?
That was great.
Yeah.
I love it. I love to support small businesses and individuals. So
I'm glad you did, because it definitely is important. All right, you guys have a great rest of the day. Appreciate it. 45-minute meal, you cannot beat that.
all right.
Thanks.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.